to come over. I know you're shy. You can be shy with me. You know I need to, and I'm not quite sober. I know you're shy, baby. You can be shy. It's alright. I just wanna see.
Hey, Essential Practice fam! Gab here. I'm so excited to be here today. I want to start by thanking Elena for just allowing me to live out my dream of having my own cooking show. Super exciting. I've always wanted to have a cooking show. So this is a very easy way to do it. Today, guys, we are going to make at-home essential oil infused chocolate. Basically, it's like Martha Stewart, but more badass. That's what we're doing here. Choop says to say hi to everyone. I would have loved for her to co-host. Actually, I would love for her to co-host all my shows, but she's back in Montreal. But she was very excited about all your comments and all your love on our last video. So thank you so much for that. That really filled her up with a lot of joy. So what are we doing today? We're making chocolate. And I'm going to explain why I really believe in chocolate. I believe not only in its existence, but also in its importance, health properties of chocolate. I really believe in eating it as often as humanly possible. I don't actually even associate with people who don't eat chocolate. I'm just kidding. That's not true. But for people who do love eating chocolate and want to do so in a more healthful, holistic way, this recipe is for you. So just a little background. I've been a chocolate lover, a sweet toother for years and years and years. And when I was going through the initial stages of my recovery, unfortunately, sugar was something I really clung to in a very intense way. And just recently, in the past year or so, I've really kind of shifted my relationship to chocolate, junk food, all of those things. But the aroma of chocolate itself, it's sensual, it's delicious, it's amazing. Chocolate products, especially chocolate bars that you get in the grocery store, can have anywhere from 12 to 26 chemical components in them, preservatives, flavors. So honestly, they're really kind of horrifying for your gut biome. So this super simple recipe you guys are going to see, it's like the easiest, quickest thing to make. It makes adorable little chocolates that I'll show you later. It makes you feel like a domestic goddess, and people are super impressed that you make your own chocolate. So let's start with before I continue, because as much as this is a chocolate tutorial, I always think it's nice to mention that if you don't make online videos and it's something that you'd like to start doing more regularly, the advice I can give you is just do it. Just get into it. You will get more used to it as you go. The more you practice, just like with anything, the more comfortable you'll get. I'm nervous before every live video. So two of the things that I've found that have been really wonderful for me are Melaleuca. I always put it and draw a big heart with my Melaleuca roller around my throat chakra. I also have this beautiful goddess blend that I made, but the speaker's blend from Desiree Mangendog's book, I Am Fabulous, is really excellent also. So if you do want to get into making more at-home videos, those are really good oils to have on hand. The other thing I want to mention, because a client of mine made these at home last week and had a hard time figuring out how much oils to put in her recipe, do not have your diffuser going while you're cooking. As much as we kind of naturally want to have our diffuser on all the time, especially in the kitchen, if you have your diffuser going with other competing aromas, you're not going to be able to actually judge aromatically how many drops of each essential oil to put into your chocolate blend. So just for the period of the cooking, I would say don't put your diffuser on and really enjoy the actual cooking. So here we go, and obviously I'll put together a document following this with, you know, an actual recipe that you guys can follow along, but as you're going to see, it's super easy, super intuitive to do. So the first thing that you're going to want is coconut oil. Ideally, organic bio coconut oil. These are really easy to find in most grocery stores now, which is really nice. And you want them ideally to be cold pressed. That's what I found in my cooking has been the best. So I just picked some up today, 100% virgin coconut oil, organic bio if you can find it. The second thing that you're going to want to get is premium cocoa powder. Again, you can get this in the bakery section of any grocery store. There's a bunch of different types. I just picked up Fry. It was easy. It was there. But I know that there's some really beautiful organic ones that are fair trade as well. So this one isn't fair trade, but if you can find that in your grocery store, that's perfect. So that's the basis of your chocolate that you're going to make. Now, obviously, unless you're super hardcore, and I know that some people are, you're going to want some form of sweetener. A little note about sweeteners, gang. I think we all kind of are on the same page about refined sugar. I mean, use it, hashtag no judgment. You use whatever sweetener you want. I happen to use maple syrup. Whenever I sweeten anything, it's with either maple syrup or honey. I have a friend who uses stevia. I don't know about stevia. I find the aftertaste a little bit weird, but again, you choose the sweetener that you want. And ideally for this recipe, a liquid sweetener, just because it'll go into the mix a little bit easier. So today, for today's purposes, the ones that I posted last week, I had made a peppermint chocolate patty, a little bit like those After Eight peppermint patties. Super delicious. Today I'm going a little bit different. I'm going to actually do a wild orange chocolate with you guys with some extra little things that we're going to add in. So I've also just gotten some dried cranberry and some mixed nuts. Now, obviously, if you have a nut allergy or you're going to a party or whatnot, you want to watch out about using the nuts. But these are just for me at home. I'm going to eat all of them probably in one sitting after this video. So that's the other thing. The simplicity of this recipe is what makes it most interesting, because after that you can pimp it out however you want to with whatever ingredients you want. Last but not least, gang, obviously our essential oils. So I have 4 that I've selected today that we're going to talk about. The first one obviously is peppermint. That's what I used last week in my recipe. Wild orange, this is the one I'm going to be using today. And 2 other ones that we're also going to use today, lavender rosemary. And I know you guys are like, what? Lavender rosemary? But have faith, it's going to be cool. So let's get started. The thing you want to remember, in case you don't have the recipe with you, super, super easy. You are going to put equal amounts of your coconut oil to your cocoa powder. Equal amounts. So we're going to start with 1/3 of a cup here, because I'm going to make more than one batch, and I'll show you why in a minute. So you're going to take your coconut oil and you are going to put 1/3 of a cup. Obviously, I probably should have opened them in advance, but it's TV, y'all. It ain't perfect. So get that coconut oil open. Lord. Apparently they don't want us to use it, but that's okay. All right. So you want to put, say, 1/3 of a cup, and obviously it depends on how many you're going to make. But like I said, I'm doing 2 batches, so I'm going to start with 1/3 of a cup here. So 1/3 of a cup of coconut oil, flush. You really want to make sure you have the right amount. You're going to put that directly into your pot. So listen, you can use whatever kitchen equipment you're most comfortable with. I use these Cuisinol ones because they're super simple and they have this little rim. I'm going to be able to pour directly out of this afterwards. And then you're going to put that on high or medium high. You can start with high just to get the coconut oil melted. And then you're going to do your coconut powder. So, like I said, equal amounts coconut powder to the cocoa powder to the coconut oil. Cocoa powder, coconut oil. Cocoa powder, coconut oil. So, equal amounts. Okay. So, you want to wait until your coconut oil is melted, and I'll show you what it looks like after, just because I'm on my phone, so it's not like the ideal situation for showing you guys how it looks when it's cooking. But I mean, we've all melted coconut oil before, so just wait until it really gets melted down into a liquid. And then once it gets melted down into a liquid, that's when you want to turn down the heat a little bit. So you don't want to be cooking on high. Obviously, I think we all know that cooking the essential oils at too high a temperature isn't really ideal. So try and moderate the heat. Now, I have another note that I want to mention. This, I'm sure you guys have all seen this before, is a silicone muffin tin. Not tin, silicone. You can actually buy silicone cookie sheets or actually silicone kits made specifically for chocolate molding. I got this one, it was the only one they had. I can't recommend this enough. It is easy to clean, easy to manipulate, and also if you try and do this recipe in a metal tin, at the end you're going to want to you're going to lose your patience because they won't come out, whereas these ones you can really pop them out super easily. So definitely invest in a silicone muffin pan there. Just waiting for this to melt down just a little bit more. Okay, so let me show you what this looks like in case you've never done this before. You guys see it's really a liquid form, and my heat is at about a 6, 7 if you have an automatic stovetop. So now I'm going to take my cocoa powder and I'm just going to put in a little amount first, and you're going to want to dissolve the cocoa just a little bit at a time. I wouldn't put it all in at once. I would do like a little shot, make sure it's dissolved, do another little shot. And you can actually lift it off the heat and do this because the coconut oil is going to stay hot for a while. Put the last little amount in there. Mix it in. And then also these little silicone handheld jobbies for cooking are really great. Get all of that in there. You don't want to lose any. Good. And then we're just going to... And the fun thing about cooking is that you can just like lick your fingers and it's totally fine. I mean, unless you're cooking for other people and then maybe like hold back a little bit from that. But okay, so once it's completely mixed in, it has a really beautiful texture, really dark brown color. This is where you actually get to personalize your chocolate a little bit. And I'll explain why. When I made my first batch last week, I was very, very conservative on the maple syrup. It gave for very bitter chocolate. So if you're someone who likes really dark chocolate, like 70–80%, and you just put in a little touch of sweetener and you go for it, and you're gonna get that really nice bitter chocolate. If that's a little too hardcore, then obviously you want to put in more. And I know that if I want Frank to actually enjoy this, Frank, my hubby, not the oil, Frank to enjoy this, I'm gonna have to sweeten it a little bit more. So it's kind of, honestly, I eyeball it, which maybe is not the easiest thing to learn, but you really have to test a little bit. So we put in the sweetener first. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna put a little bit more than that again, so that it's a really nice, rich flavor. You can put that back on the heat a little bit, but feel free to move it on and off the heat because, like I said, the coconut oil isn't going to fige right away. And now we come to the fun part. EOs. Okay, so safety-wise, obviously, the amount that I'm doing is, you know, you want to be always more conservative with the EOs because you can always add, but you can't really take away. I'll give you an example. When I made my peppermint patties last week, I put about 6 to 7 drops in for 12 of the patties, and I found that there wasn't enough mint flavor, but Frank thought it was overwhelming. So you also kind of have to know who your audience is. If you're making it for yourself and you're like a huge oil addict, well, go nuts, put in 15, 20, that's fine. But if you're making them, say, for a birthday party, or you want to kind of introduce people to the idea of oil-based food, then maybe you want to put less drops in. So this one's for me. I'm going to go ahead and put 15 drops in. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's fine. So you put the oils in. Important, take your chocolate mixture off the heat when you're putting the oils in, and then you're just going to mix it up. Now this is the fun part. You take your chocolate and you take a whiff. First of all, it smells orgasmic, but it'll also give you a pretty good indication. Like, I'm smelling this and it's a faint smell of wild orange. I'd put in more. I'm going to put in more because YOLO, it's for me. You know what I mean? Hi, Marissa, I love you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, another 5. 20 drops, I think that's actually pretty good, probably for the amount that we're going to do. So, mix that up. We're going to move our spoon to the side. We're going to move this stuff out of the way. Now, this is another lesson I learned the hard way last week. With this chocolate recipe, guys, you want thinner is better. So don't try and fill up, if you're using muffin tin like I am, don't fill it up to midway. Really try and keep them a little bit thinner because it is dark chocolate, so it's pretty intense. If you want to really enjoy the flavor, I would say just like, you know, a very, very thin layer. So then you take that and you just pour it right in, nice and thin. And we'll see what the amount this gives is. Obviously, it'll depend also on like the thickness of the chocolate that I'm pouring, but I should be able to get 12 out of this, I think. That's what I did last week, and I got 12. So 2 important notes here that I want to add. You're going to see immediately after we do this, in order for the chocolate to actually fige or to solidify, we have to put it in the freezer. So it'll not only cool it down, but it will harden it so that afterwards you'll be able to take it out of the freezer to serve it. Now that being said, I leave my chocolate in the fridge because if it's too hot outside, the chocolates will melt on you. Like, it's kind of inevitable, actually. Oh, and you know, make a mess, right? Like, if you're not making a mess in the kitchen, it's maybe because you're doing something wrong. Now the other fun part is that you can pimp these out, like I said, any way you want to. So these are wild orange dark chocolates. I'm just going to take a couple dried cranberries and pop them into the center of these here. There. And you know, like, whatever. You put however many you like. You can do this with any sort of dried fruit. Choop and I really like using sprinkles. You can put sprinkles in your chocolate. Now, that's ready to go. I'm going to go put it in the freezer. So you want to find a flat surface in your freezer, obviously, which I organized beforehand. And you're just going to pop it in your freezer, and you're going to leave it in there at least an hour. It's a good hour for it to solidify. Now, by the magic of internet and TV, I have some made here. So as you can see, they come out in this really cute flat little shape. I just put some sprinkles and some cocoa powder on there to make them look ultra fancy. They're delicious. You're ready to go. So, quick recap. Equal parts coconut oil and cocoa powder. Your extras, you want a silicone tin to work with. You want your oils of choice. Make sure that they're oils that you can actually ingest. Any extras that you want to add. We're going to do one more thing together, which is another kind of little chocolate project I came up with last week that I've been really wanting to try. Now we're actually trying this together. I have no idea if this will actually work or not. So we're just going to discover this together, and I'll give you an update, or y'all can give me an update tomorrow and let me know if you tried and if it worked. So I'm going to take this same pan. I'm going to again go and get, what did we say? 3/4 of a cup of the coconut oil. So again, remember, it's 1-to-1 ratio coconut oil to cocoa powder. I'm putting that in there. Again, put it back in. I'm going to melt it. Turn that back on high. Measure up my cocoa powder. This time I'm doing it a little bit more cowboy because I don't want this video to be too long. So turning this on high, gonna let this melt. And in the meantime, while that's melting, you are going to get a flat tin. What are these called? Cooking sheets. A flat cooking sheet. And you're gonna put parchment paper on it. I'm sure you guys know where I'm going with this, but anyways, just to not ruin the surprise for people who may not know exactly what I'm planning on doing, melt that coconut oil. I wish I had a melted coconut oil in another one in advance so that you wouldn't have to watch me melt this coconut oil, but you know, we're learning next time. So this is almost melted. I'm going to go ahead and start putting my cocoa powder in here. Just waiting for that to melt. Cocoa powder in little increments so I can really mix it in properly. Ooh. I almost made such a huge mess just now, but anyways, it's okay. Crisis averted. So that last little bit of cocoa powder is in there. Good. Now, this is where we get creative and a little bit crazy. I love lavender and I love rosemary. They're two of my favorite oils. I'm gonna put some lavender in there. I'm gonna put like, say, 3 drops of lavender because it is a pretty strong oil. 1 drop of rosemary. And about 5 drops of wild orange. Because wild orange is just like epic. Gonna mix that in. And then I'm going to take my cooking sheet. This is gonna make such a mess. Okay, sorry. Make sure that your piece of parchment paper covers the entirety of your cooking sheet, or you'll probably regret it. Hi, Darky. So cover your cooking sheet in parchment paper. Fold it at the edges. Then take your oil and your cocoa mixture and pour it on your sheet. Just like a total crazy person. Total anarchy in the kitchen. Then you want to just spread it out a little bit. I mean, you're never going to get a perfect amount. And actually, I probably could have done a little bit larger batch of the chocolate here, but so I'm spreading it out. Try and make it kind of even. Then I'm taking my accessories again. So now I've got some dried cranberries that I'm putting in there. And I've also got some nuts that I am just going to crush a little bit. If I can find my crusher majig. Oh, here it is. So just going to crush my nuts. That sounds horrible, but you know what I mean. Crush them so that they're not full pieces. Take them and again just kind of lay them out in the chocolate. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like. Dark chocolate essential oil bark. Right? Am I right? So exciting. So again, this one has to go, I'm going to actually try it in the fridge and see if that works. So I'm going to put it in the fridge for about an hour. And then when I come back to it, if it isn't completely settled, well then I know it absolutely has to go into the freezer. But I'm going to try it in the fridge because my freezer is like really full right now, to be honest. So just putting that in the fridge, I'm going to let it solidify. And then in about an hour when I check on it, essential oil and dried fruit and nut bark. An amazing, delicious, and healthy snack. So that's all, guys. Super simple. Essential oil infused dark chocolate. You can either make them into little individual chocolates or bark. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. So give it a try. Let me know what essential oil mixes you're using. I was thinking, you know, even Slim and Sassy, On Guard, ginger, wild orange, like the sky is the limit, gang. So give them a try. Let me know in the comments how it works out for you, or if you have any things that you would switch out for your homemade chocolates. And I really look forward to talking to you all soon. Thanks again to Elena for supporting me in this little video, and I hope you guys have an amazing Wednesday afternoon. Bye.